Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has on the short term not really changed anything. It's still evolving. Therefore, we want to zoom on the lower time frame into the pattern to understand what it could be, what we're doing here. Yeah. On the other hand, nothing else really has happened on the higher time frame. Therefore, all the comments I made in the previous video still stand. So feel free to check out my previous video to get a bit more information, and yeah, if you want to know about the higher level scenarios, don't want to repeat them again in this video. We will do that later again. As you know, there should be another update today anyway. So let's zoom in to this lower time frame count, and the idea is still that we should get one more low, maybe even two more lows into the 21.3k region. Did explain in the last video why I think that's the case. It all has to do with Fibonacci retracements, Fibonacci extensions, and targets. And just simply, if I was to consider that a very simple bear flag or bearish pennant, yeah, then also here you would typically say, all right, okay, you know, let's take the length of that sort of flagpole and add it to a possible breakout point somewhere here. Yeah, would also take us sort of into the, yeah, not exactly 21.3k, but it's only an approximate level. As I said yesterday, it could be this entire box basically between 20,300 and 21,536. This is the area for me to scale in already a little bit earlier. I showed you how in the previous video, how I would do this, because there are three scenarios that all point into this area and out of which we should ideally get a reversal. Now, nothing is ever for certain in these markets, but when we have the possibility and the situation that in three probable scenarios, similar support areas are going to be seen most likely, and the reversal is expected, then I'm going to use that. So I wouldn't try to fish for the lowest low. I wouldn't try to pick the best entry here. You know, make it easy for yourselves, unless you want to make it difficult for yourselves, but make it easy, you know, and look for scaling in, scaling out of support in batches. That's what I'm going to do in this case, but there's no financial advice. So yeah, as always, you know, we said this might be a fourth wave here. Corrective to the upside, corrective to the downside, might become a triangle. We always need to consider that in a fourth wave. It's weekend, right? So on a weekend, especially on a Saturday, you might get these triangles quite often. So, I mean, it might be a bit too early to label it as a triangle. Always bear in mind, this is really just a lower time frame view, and it's subject to change, especially in a triangle. This is subject to change because these can often extend out, and I would have to count this as an A wave, this as a B wave, this as a C wave. So we could see another D. I mean, theoretically, this could have been the D and this an E. An E wave can be very short. Yeah, there is not really a rule how high wave E might go and how long it must be. The only thing is it must not go above the C wave high. But looking at the proportions, I would rather say, oh no, 1 second, that wick was before. So I have to, yeah, okay, so looking at that, I mean, this, yeah, this could be the D, okay. This could be the E. But it would be very short, doesn't have the right look really, but it's on a lower time frame, so we can consider maybe that was D and E, and we should get a continuation to the downside. That would be what we expect anyway, but we need to keep options open, so I'm just putting the D and the E here somewhere into the air. Be aware, we might just be a bit more on the sideways track here, and where the E wave then ends, that's where we have the end of the fourth wave and should then come down in a fifth, okay? So that's sort of where we are. Looking at targets here, just purely by looking at the triangle, you typically would go to the beginning of the triangle, which was actually here, and add this here to the end of the E wave, which might be somewhere around 22,370. That might take us down to around 21.9k. That's just a typical standard triangle target, how you would normally measure it based on Elliott Wave. Bear in mind, it's a low time frame, and as I said, we might get two more lows, yeah, because I'm not entirely sure if this wave 3 here might sit actually down here, and we're just currently finishing a sub wave 4 of that third. So that could mean then that we hit this as 21.9k, then get a fourth and a fifth. I think and a fifth. I think that would add up quite well, quite nicely. So maybe I'm gonna leave it like that. But bear in mind, this is subject to change. This is just sort of an idea of a roadmap on a lower time frame. Could really very well be we're now in the D wave, head down a little bit here. Typical target for a D wave is the 61.8 extension of the B wave. So you measure that, and the target for the D wave in this case would be 22,184. Would expect a bit of a reaction. By the way, yeah, the B wave here, yeah, this trend line might also shift because I don't have a confirmed D wave. So it could very well be that this trend line will sit a little bit at a different angle because you connect waves B and D, which might impact the target calculation as well. So we need to be a bit flexible here. But yeah, 22,184 would be an ideal target for the D wave. Would also already pay attention to 22,268. But you know, we are really looking at the micro level here. And important is that the E wave must not go above the C wave, which is at 22,411. And if it goes above the A wave, the triangle is completely invalidated. That would be 22.5k. But then it could still be a normal, let's call it ABC. It would not suddenly be super bullish. It would still be a fourth wave, but probably a WXY of some sort. That could then reach here the 22.6k level, which is still an ideal target for a fourth wave. Okay, so I would expect somewhere from this region here in yellow, which is the wave 4 resistance, I would expect heading down. Okay, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, we will see. And maybe Bitcoin does something surprising and goes to the upside, but then it doesn't show us anything of that type yet, of that sort. So looking here further at continuation, it's looking like a bearish pennant, which you would normally expect to head further to the downside, yeah. And I intend to scale in further. We'll probably issue some more buy orders today on Telegram and Discord, which I'm gonna set. And I hope you like the update. Hope you have a great weekend. If you liked it, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.